Welcome to another episode of Can Blue, a hockey podcast covering the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens. I am one of your hosts covering the Rangers, Ben Prattley.
And I'm Brendan, covering the Habs. And we're back with another week.
Another week, another slate of games. We have 3 games from the Rangers side, 3 games from the Montreal Canadiens side. I think our goal this week is to be a little more streamlined and a little more
compact,
on topic.
Yep.
Even. I don't mind if we go 90 minutes, but I think we should be more on topic because we were a little back and forth last week of so many topics because it was our first episode.
That's also just how it flows with our hockey conversations.
Absolutely, it's
find.
all over the place. First we're talking about the Canadiens, then we're talking about the '94 Rangers, and then we're talking about some guy Darius Kasparaitis on the Rangers in like the 2000s. So it goes all over the place. But if you're watching on video, you'll see we have a little bit new setup here, and I did bring a jersey this time. Got the reverse retro Chris Kreider jersey. I think it's the first version where it's the lighter colors, and I'm going to turn that around. And the reason for that, one of the reasons I chose it for this episode is because of the famous Kreider getting tripped.
I'm glad you're saying it.
Into Carey Price. Getting tripped is what I said, not running into. Because God knows he got tripped on that play. What was that, 2014, 2015 playoffs?
Well, this story
Price
has
goes
been
out.
beaten down.
What was it, Peter Budaj comes in?
Budaj and Tokarski.
And
I remember first of all, Kreider is known to be doing this. I don't need to be explaining this and beating it like a dead horse.
Well, to the Canadiens fans, I'm sure they know this, and the Rangers.
To
the Rangers, they just know he's a hardworking, blue collar type of player.
Blue collar.
Yeah,
Give me
man.
a break.
Blue shirts.
Give me a break. Kreider has been known to be crashing the net as he did, and he did it to Price. And who's to say it wasn't deliberate or
pretty sure Plekanec tripped him, dude.
I can't remember the play because I hate re-seeing the play.
Oh, gosh. Do you want me to remind you?
I don't think it was a trip by Plekanec. I think even if it was, Kreider definitely leaned into it and
all right. Let me paint
directed
the picture.
his body towards Price.
I think a great idea is pulling up as we're talking about this. We won't see it now, but pulling
we'll
up.
Probably pull it up.
Pulling it up and overlaying it as how I'm explaining it in the video.
Maybe I'll just pull up the time where Price just hits Kreider.
You could do that, but this is how I remember it, and then we can move on. I remember Kreider skating down. I thought it was Plekanec, had his stick, tried to make a stick check on Kreider. It ends up going through his legs. There's an image where the stick is like bent through Kreider's legs, and this is out at like the hash mark, maybe around the circle. And then they both fall.
Yeah, so they had
hash
time.
mark is so far. No, because then he falls.
He was far, and he had time to roll over or not direct himself towards Price.
Dude, that guy is a horse. He's not. He can't. It's not like
because
he's
a horse, he can't control himself.
No. When he's on the ground, so he gets tripped.
You can't deny
he goes
that he
forward,
has done
he
this
just
multiple
keeps going.
times, though. Multiple offender, and it's an accident. I'm just playing hard. No, he's injured multiple goalies like this.
I think.
So I would. There's more of an argument on your side if this wasn't a one shot. If this was.
What was the other goalie he injured?
I'm pretty sure it was the Penguins goalie. It wasn't Jerry at the time. It was
the Smith.
It was definitely
Flower.
Yeah, the Flower. Yeah, he injured them.
Maybe. I don't really remember that, but I have a short. I think you're thinking of Jacob Trouba.
You're
thinking of Jacob Trouba elbowing Crosby in the head.
No,
which he didn't do.
I know for sure Kreider. Well, we'll play it in the playback. Kreider injured the Flower.
All right, well,
I'm pretty sure it's the Flower.
I guess we'll see. So brought that because it's a contentious topic. I'm sure Canadiens fans watching remember it not so fondly.
I brought a legitimate reverse retro. That looks exactly like the same colors as they have. This is a genuine reverse retro.
So Brendan is showing, hanging up behind us, for those not watching, the light baby blue Canadiens Caulfield jersey.
22 still. But
back when it was 22.
Back when it was 22. I still need to get a 13. We were just discussing this, but
yep.
Yeah.
I think the 13, we're both going for 13 this year. not on purpose, but it is a good homage for us to get the 13s to support the Goodrow family. But great show by Caulfield, I would say, also to change his number to 13. And yeah, makes sense that you would want a new jersey to get the right number.
Yeah.
And same for me.
Also, just it seems like 13 Caulfield is a whole nother beast that is ready for the show and has been unlocked. So
yeah, and we're gonna get into
that. Yeah.
We're gonna get into that. And just to finish that thought, and I think my next jersey purchase is going to be Lafreniere, because we're also going to get into that. He's having a monster season on that second line with Panarin and Trocheck again. Okay, quick little insert here. We just took a look at the schedule for this week.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Rangers play the Montreal Canadiens
in Madison Square Garden this Tuesday.
Either way. That's going to add some good content for us, a little back and forth. Usually, so a couple years ago, Brendan was very high on the Canadiens early in the season. So I made him a bet that if the Canadiens made the playoffs and the Rangers didn't make the playoffs, we would exchange like $100 or something,
right.
And vice versa. And of course, the Rangers made it and the Canadiens didn't. So
I made good on
so
that.
You
bet.
did. But I gave you an out at halfway because it was already going. In
yeah,
a
you
bad
did give
spot.
me an out, and I was like, I doubled down. And I'm like, no.
Well, either way, I think we're gonna do a little wager for this. Won't be monetary, but what we'll do is, whoever wins the next game, I'm thinking, has to wear the other team's jersey on the pod. So if
I have to choose what you wear.
Yes.
And you have to choose what I
So if the
wear.
Canadiens win, you can give me a whoever Canadiens jersey, and I'll wear it the whole pod, and vice versa. You'll most likely be wearing Kreider.
Yeah, I see it right now.
And I also think we have to open up the pod by saying, so and so is our daddy. I think if the Rangers win, you have to wear the jersey and look in the camera and say, Chris Kreider's my daddy.
Oh man.
And
this is more
you
painful
can
for me
than
you.
Yeah,
honestly.
you're right. I mean, do you have a cross?
No, I don't have a counter.
Counter? Give me one and I'll do it. I'll accept. Probably, because I think the Rangers will win.
You're very neutral on Habs. Like you don't hate us.
That's because they're not a threat.
Oh man.
Oh. Okay. I will say Carey Price is better than Henrik Lundqvist.
Okay, great.
Because he's not. But if we win or if we lose, I'll wear a Price jersey and look in the camera and say it.
I'm down for that.
And it'll be out there for everyone. But he's not.
I agree with that. No, but he is, and yeah, it's just the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait. Then I'm changing it. You're not gonna say Chris Kreider's my daddy. When the Rangers win, you're gonna wear the jersey, look in the camera, and say, Chris Kreider was tripped and he didn't mean to run into Price.
Oh my god.
I think that's great.
No, please, Monty, you need to show up for this game.
You agree? Handshake deal?
Dude, that's really tough, man.
You don't have to believe it, but you have to say it. I know.
Hurts.
I know it does. Well, it would hurt me if I had to say convincingly that Price was better than Lundqvist, because he's not.
Hey, you have to say Price hands down was a better goalie overall than Henrik Lundqvist.
I'll say it. It's not gonna happen, but I'll say it.
Okay. Deal.
All right. Okay. So I think then we should get into just a little bit around the league that happened this week, things that stuck out to me or to you. One of them, big one, the goalie goal. Philip Gustafsson. Yeah. Of course, we've talked last episode about our fantasy hockey league. Yeah, and so a little bit of a backstory there. It's a bunch of our high school buddies and friends that I played hockey with around town, and it's a 16-man league. We have a keeper system where there's 3 keepers a year that come after the 4th round. So we have a good cycle of the top players in the league every year, but you get to it incentivizes having good late round picks and good waiver wire pickups. So I'm the commissioner, and this week I'm playing the kid who has Philip Gustafsson, of course. And I think we said something before the season, like, if a goalie scores a goal, it'll be 10 or 20 points, something big, because it never happens. It happens once every few years. Yeah. So, of course, I just got totally screwed on that.
And, it was like, what, 20 points in the end? Did you add 20
I didn't
points?
add it yet. I think he might beat me.
You need to add it.
He might beat me flat out, in which case it's just easier if I leave it. But
yeah, but it's still cool to have on a stat sheet,
you're
know?
You're right. I wish ESPN took care of that. That's annoying.
Yeah, it's true. But, yeah, we've had this league for, like, almost 10 years now.
Yeah. No.
Or-
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's since 2017. So.
Yeah, almost.
And I do the power rankings and rip on everyone. It's good. It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fun time. We put in money and winner. I mean, it's not winner take all, but like.
Yeah. It's a good system we have there. But so for Gustafsson's goal, I mean, classic just
right away gets it, just shoots it.
Full ice.
Clearly
was meaning to do it, and I've always said I thought Shesterkin was going to be the next goalie to score because he's tried it.
Gustafsson?
I know, kind of out of nowhere. So it's good for the goaltender. Actually, one funny thing he said was after that goal, he was joking around with the press afterwards, saying, "I'm going to be demanded to put myself in the power play meetings after he scored there," which I thought was a good nod there. Okay, anything on your side from the league?
Dude, honestly, the Gustafsson was the only thing that stuck out to me. I was just so entrenched with the Habs stuff and getting sad over that I couldn't really.
Was it 0-3?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, 0-2-1.
0-2-1.
0-2-1.
Can't relate.
So we had a tough week this week.
So I guess just bringing it to the Rangers side then.
Yeah.
Not a big story. A kind of half story that people are trying to make a big deal is the Rangers banner that they hung up, which is the regular season champs banner. I don't mind.
I mean, congratulations,
Thanks. Yeah, I really. What does that do for me? Nothing.
Nothing.
I don't mind hanging a banner for an accomplishment like that. Like if they, won the Metro, if they made it to the Stanley Cup, and you want to hang something to memorialize that season because it was a historic season in many ways. I think we had
Who okayed it? I don't even.
It's just a thing
Lundqvist
for the
did.
fans. And Lundqvist did? What are you talking about? But so what I don't like is the phrasing of it, like regular season champions. That's not a champion. You didn't win. You won the President's Trophy, I guess. So you did win something.
It should at the very least say President's
I think
Trophy.
it should say President's Trophy winner.
Yeah.
If it said that, that's fine. But like when I see the words regular season champs, that to me screams the Toronto
honestly,
Maple Leafs.
It shouldn't even,
it
shouldn't even be up
it's
there.
It's like a chirp. I agree.
It shouldn't be up there.
It's hung
honestly.
up there with like Bathgate, Messier,
They have,
Gilbert, Lundqvist, and now we have
they
regular
just have
season champs.
To,
Come on.
Put up there, so they had to come up with something. I guess.
Okay. How many have you seen?
I mean, we have 24.
How many have you seen?
How many we had? I think the 2021 Stanley Cup.
Are you answering the
finals.
question? How many have you seen?
What? Seen what?
Cups.
Oh. Well, how many have you seen? Zero.
Same. That's why it works so well together.
Nice.
One of us will get it.
You know what? That's why I'm also competitive with the Rangers is because we haven't seen the last time we both won cups was around the same time, 93, 94, and now the competition is like, all right, well, because I live in the area, is who's first to get it. That's why I despise the Rangers. And also, we had a couple good chances, and the Rangers shut us down. So
hey, as long as
St. Louis shut us down specifically. I remember. So going back real quick.
I wish he was coaching
finals,
the Rangers, man.
You never know. He might just come up eventually. But
could.
we love him. We want to keep him. So far, so good. But I could imagine if the rebuild doesn't go well, that he unfortunately gets the boot. Not that he's to blame.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see next 2 years, I think, and then we'll make a decision.
Yeah. Is that what I thought you had another point?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I remember specifically him. Like the dagger I knew for that series was when St. Louis scored that OT goal against Tokarski. I remember he's just waiting in front and then just snipes it. And
that's
I was like, oh.
Caulfield, man. That'll be Caulfield one day.
Yeah, I know.
In the playoffs.
He's showing it right now.
Yeah.
But back to the games. Do we want to talk about the games?
Yeah, let's start. Let's do. I find it's harder to, not harder. I'm super excited. It's awesome when your team wins and you have 3 games in a week and you win 3 games. And
you're scoring a lot.
You're scored against not that much. So there was a lot more to talk about when they lost in overtime to the Utah club, but now that they're really letting up very little, there's things to critique. But it's kind of just team's good. That's awesome.
Team's playing well, yeah. So you can't complain.
Yeah, but I will start with the first Detroit game that happened early last week. I think it was a 4-1 win. We have Laugh contributing from Panarin. Great 5-on-5 line there. I probably will talk about that every single game
Yep.
that we cover here. And then, we have Igor standing on his head. He's really playing for that big contract, which at this point
It's looking good.
I've been seeing, at first, way early in the season, I'm thinking, if they sign him for 13, I'm you kind of still have to do it. I don't really care. Get him signed. You see these teams like the Devils who are just struggling to find a goalie. It's you never want to have that situation. Just pay him.
Yeah, goalies are long term.
Yeah.
You got to lock them down.
Yeah, and so there's that, and then coming into the season, I'm all right, I actually think I think you can get him in the 11s. That's what all the reporters were saying. And after he turned down the 11 million flat, I still think it's possible to get him in high 11s, but now I'm pretty set that 12, I think 12 will get it done.
Yep.
12 by 8. And we'll see. And people are mad that he wants to be the highest paid Ranger, but he kind of is playing like that.
Yeah.
So,
it's earned.
Yeah, definitely. So they only scored one goal in this game, one goal against, and that was Larkin late in the period. So momentary lapse of just judgment and positioning just allowed Larkin open in the last minute of the game. But what I've seen, it's kind of been a trend, is there's a lot of chaos going on in front of the net, and they haven't been great about picking up bodies as great as they can be, and just clearing the puck out. And that was a point that we hit on in the Utah game. They scored 2 or 3 from right in front of that, and the OT winner was, he comes around the net and then brings it right to the front and no one picks him up and he scores. So they've been better. They've been clearing it up. They haven't been allowing as much, but it's also because Igor is so great. If they had a worse goaltender,
right,
more of those pucks right in front of the net would go in. So that's part of the reason, actually, why they need to keep Igor. If they downgrade at all, I think that, and they're built around knowing that they can get away with some of those sloppier plays in front of the net. So that's what I want to see in the coming week, them kind of shutting down on those chances, and instead of a prolonged everyone's poking at it or shooting and there's a chance, because eventually teams are going to get in more of a flow and score those types of goals. They need to just shut that type of play down. So it's a little bit of a defensive.
Who's the guy that's supposed to be in front of Igor to help out there?
I think it's happened on multiple different lines. So right now, what I'm seeing is Miller and Fox is the top pairing, which is awesome. First time we've seen it really for a prolonged period. And it's because Lindgren's out. So when Lindgren comes back, he's usually not big, but he's tough. He usually clears out the front of the net pretty well. Same with Trouba. Trouba's a great person that can move bodies because he's big. And you have guys like Schneider, who I think is also a big dude, and then there's Mancini, and we've had Jones and Ruedel on the bottom pairing. It ultimately falls on the defenseman in front and then the centers coming down. So it's a whole team effort. I don't really see one person dropping the ball.
Right.
It's just got to play as a team, got to do it. So that one, to finish the thought of that game, Larkin scores late. They kind of just. Kreider had a great net front presence goal and avoided the crease at all costs. He did fall over the goalie that you'll probably say, oh, par for the course there. But he avoided him, and he fell on him after the goal was in play.
So he did the basic thing to do. Congrats.
Yeah,
Kreider.
well, whatever. Either way, that gets him to 2. I think they might have had, was it Riley Smith first goal as a Ranger possibly, and then empty netter. Zibanejad, empty net merchant, can't score 5-on-5.
He can make some apples, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind him being an assist guy, but he's paid to be our top center. He needs to score, and he's not scoring.
It'd be crazy if he sets a record for most empty net goals in a year.
I doubt it. No. He does have a lot, though.
He scores 20.
Yeah. No, I have mixed feelings on him now because he had a great offensive production year a couple years ago where he scored 5 against the Capitals. That was an all-time
on par
game.
with how Panarin shoots too, sniping it.
Yeah, no, he was, yes.
Yeah.
And now it's definitely taken a step back, but he's still
was an injury?
He's still
what happened?
30. I think he just needs to shoot. He needs to get that shooter's mentality, of which Panarin definitely has, which I'll talk about in the next game where he gets his hat trick. So, great win against a probably average NHL team in the Red Wings. So, that's game 1. So moving on to game 2 of the Habs. What'd you see there? What'd you like? What you didn't like?
Yeah, so game ended up being for the Pens 6-3. Gave up a couple goals in the first period. Defensively there, we're a little lacking. Don't blame it on Monty whatsoever. Also just solid chances from the Pens. But defensively, this game is what comes out to me in terms of the lack and stood out the most. But we did keep it competitive after, well, late in first, and then in the second period, we actually gained the lead. So
couldn't hold on, though?
Couldn't hold on. And then, yeah, we just gave up pretty much 4 straight after we were up 3-2. So it was a bit of a rough one, mainly because I was a little confident in this one because the Penguins, they were not doing well, like in terms of letting up a lot of goals. Jari, we've talked about it. He's kind of like a Swiss cheese kind of
glove side. He is at least.
Goaltender,
Yeah.
glove side.
We were saying when we were watching that game, his glove looks small. Like he should somehow try to get a bigger glove.
He may have small hands.
Maybe he just has the mini hands.
He may have small hands. And I don't think we took advantage of that fact, and also of the defensive let-ups that the Penguins have let through. And it's not enough shots on net for this game. And, well, thankfully, first goal late in first to give him good momentum into the second was Caden Gooley. Nice, solid shot. This Gooley is really, hopefully without any injuries, he's really stepping it up this year. Not only defensively, but also offensively. So it's a good start for him this year. Lars Eller, former Hab.
Hab killer?
Killing us. The Hab killer.
Does he have the status of Hab killer? That's it? Well, because where was he? He was Capitals last year?
Capitals. Yeah. But even then, when he was on the Caps, when we played against them, he'd play really well against us, I found. So 2 snipes for him for his first 2 this season. So, yeah, second period, down 2-1. Slav gets a beauty of a pass from Suzuki for his first of the year. Great relief for all of us. And it's just nice to see Slav score. We all love seeing his smile.
What was his season last year? He had 20 goals?
20 goals, yeah.
That's pretty good. Like
50 points.
And he's
50 points.
This is his 3rd year?
3rd year. First year was basically
he's kind of an animal. Like I feel like if you unlock what he's got, like he could really play well.
He's playing awesome, and I'll get into it later. He has a bit of an injury, but yeah, first goal of the year. It's good to get that kind of within the first 2 weeks, so to get some good momentum. But other than that, he also gets great assists. Third goal, Emil Heineman coming down the left side, snipes it. Actually, that was glove side, top corner, glove side. So we did take advantage of Jari's weak
that's
glove.
got to be the scouting report. Just like fire it high glove side, and you have guys like Caulfield that can just put it wherever they want.
Right.
And Heineman listened. That's good.
Yeah, and Heineman's come a bit of a surprise for us this year. He
rookie
year, got his first goal a couple games ago, but this was his second. And just a nice shot. We could easily see why he took over Jesse Ylönen's previous spot on the squad, and unfortunately
those are names I don't know.
Yeah,
like
he was supposed to be like a decent prospect for us.
Yeah.
I wish him the best, of course, and maybe he'll bounce around the system. But
he got sent down.
He actually got picked up on waivers by Tampa, and then they waived him.
And so he's on AHL there.
He's
probably
in AHL there. Yeah. But Heineman being a big surprise for us. I didn't think of Heineman this way. So it's encouraging to see not only Lane Hudson, but another rookie like Heineman and later Kapanen I'll get into. But yeah, up 3-2. And that's the end of the scoring for us that game.
And we'll move on. No.
Because the Pens just
They did what the Pens do. They like a team like that has all those veterans. They just kind of know how to stay in, and then if you give them a chance, they
were pretty steady, and they look like vintage Pens. Just like they came back and poured it onto us.
Not to mention, like Malkin has the most points in the league, tied with Panarin, I think, as of a day or so.
That is, who would have thought that Malkin would be leading?
I think Malkin does this thing where when Crosby has a really good year, he kind of like feels like, wait, I have to have a good year now. And then he goes off and just like scores, like becomes the leading scorer for the Pens. And you're like, what the hell?
Those two are still just absolutely killing it. Yeah. This game, defensive breakdown after the gaining the lead 3-2. One breakdown in particular was when Matheson was all alone on a 3-on-1. Just absolutely, like, once I saw that, I was just like, oh, man.
Yeah. We
just got caught in really, really deep in the ozone. Hudson there included. So, like, you know, I'm not blaming him, of course, but there's going to be there's still an adjustment period.
There's growing pains. That happens.
Growing pains, and that's good. Yeah, he needs to learn early. We're a young team, one of the youngest in the league. And there's another year of growing pains, but that's like okay with me as long as there's progress, and I do see progress.
I think you're at the point of like you just got to keep competitive, and then eventually you got to start winning these types of close games.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if necessarily playoffs is your goal. I think if you got there, it would be overachieving this year a little bit.
No, yeah, for sure.
Right?
I'd say if we make the playoffs this year, it's overachieving.
But if you can start to turn some of these games that are close, and I think it's kind of the same for the rest of the games this week for you. If you could turn, maybe not the Kings game, but if you could turn some of those games that are close, I think that's like where you start compiling more wins, and then that can get you into the spot.
I want to see a couple things first.
Okay.
I want to see us maintain a lead, like comfortably, not increase in the scoring to make it more comfortable.
Just control the game.
Just control the game better while we're up.
Yeah.
Not let it go so easily.
Yeah.
Late game goals too, whether it's the end of a period or literally within the last 5 minutes of the game in the third period. We have to. That kills us too. Yeah. The momentum's just killed. Yeah. So I want to see those two things like alleviate a little better, and obviously the scoring. I don't even have to mention it. We all know the scoring needs to finish better.
Yeah.
And it can't just be the top
Kings
line.
game.
It can't be the top line. Kings game is an example of.
Why don't you get into Kings game? We'll have you go game 2.
Yeah, Kings game. I mean, what can I say? Like the effort there was just very minimal. Didn't feel the passion, even after the Barron goal, the only goal of the game for the Habs. It just wasn't clicking at all.
So all right, but not clicking and not being passionate are two different things. Do you really think? Did it feel like there was no motivation there? Because what I saw, and I don't know the team as well, so I wasn't following this closely. What I saw was like they had the chances, they just couldn't execute. So like an execution problem
to that maybe
is different than like just not caring.
No.
So like what? No, but like if you think they're not caring.
No, let me clarify. No, because you're right. Yeah, they had the chances, and here's where I say there's a bit of a skill gap that I still see with the Habs is. The ability to finish and make use of the chances that, like high danger chances. Yeah. I don't think we take advantage of that a lot. And
I think you had 4
really high chances.
4
and
right in front of the net.
And I think because of the failure in that, it leads to, all right, well, like less energy and less passion.
Yeah.
So the third period was just like, you know, like I had my cousin. My cousin was at the game actually pretty close to. I think he was on the glass.
Nice.
So he saw right in front of him,
not
like,
much
what's
glass
happening.
Banging though. One goal, right?
Not much. Yeah, not much of that. But one thing he mentioned is like there was no passion at all. Like, I don't want like. I hold the whole team accountable. I don't want to name people for this, but
but I will. And here,
but I'll say actually what other.
Dvorak, I hate you. Yeah. Who else? Come on.
No.
Lay into him.
Sometimes I don't know why Dvorak isn't the hockey league, to be honest.
How old is he? Like
he's mid-20s.
Mid-20s. Okay.
I
love hate with him.
Not even.
All hate?
It's mostly hate.
Oh no.
But
is he like
but this year going into it, I did see a r/Habs comment where I going into this year, I kind of wanted to be like, all right, let's just give everyone some time, including the ones that I'm less forgiving of.
Yeah.
And one of them is like, all right, when I see Dvorak actually doing pretty well, I'm like, okay, yeah. And then when I see him absolutely do nothing, I'm like, this guy, what is he doing?
He sucks.
Why is he here? Like,
yeah.
Why do we have like a
What
waste of
line
space?
is he on?
Third line. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Third, fourth. I mean, he has played on the fourth for a bit, but mostly third line. I don't mean to be harsh because I don't want to be harsh because I understand. Like it's difficult for the team in general.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder Dvorak's existence on the team.
If Line was here, would that bump him down to like fourth or possibly off?
Well, the problem is Armia too being on the second line. Armia's not a second line guy.
Yeah.
He slows the game down, not in a good way. He's just slow. I'll just say straight up. He's
Joel
older,
Armia is
but he's
slow.
a steady guy.
We'll name that episode
and
this.
decently reliable.
Joel Armia is slow.
And he's been on the squad for a long time, so he's loyal, and I appreciate that. And he does come in clutch. He has come in clutch in the past, especially in the playoffs. So he's just one of those guys that should not be on the second line, though. And,
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, we don't. I like to say now that I think maybe Heineman has proved himself to move up third, second line. He plays on the fourth.
You got to rely on your young prospect, like rookie people, when that comes to it for that. So you think those two really stood out as guys that like didn't play well this game? Like who had the only goal in this Kings game?
Barron,
right?
Because there was a lot of like criticism towards Barron in his first week, in our team's first week. And I saw a couple comments like in a thread about Barron. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And then he's the only one to score in the subsequent
Pretty
game.
sweet wraparound. He beat him.
Yeah. And for the first
David
goal.
Riddick.
For the first goal. And that's another thing I want is that, I mean, maybe it's too much for us to ask. That's why I said the previous things first. But we need to keep going after we have the lead. Like, keep pouring it on. Yeah. Get more. Like, honestly, just like get more goals.
Don't get complacent. Really,
don't get complacent. But yeah, the Kings didn't play even that much better than us.
Yeah.
But they came out on top because of just steadiness with them defensively. They also just took the shots, and all the goals were, other than the empty net, were top of the circle, over top of the circle.
That's right.
Through traffic.
That's a big key.
And that was tough for us because that game was. Like, I don't blame Monty at all because we were screening him for a couple of those goals. Goals like that.
A couple of thoughts there is like, all right, it seemed like the whole game you were within 1 or 2 goals except for like the empty net, and they might have scored another in the third.
Yeah.
So like very close game. You have to stay in it. You have to keep your mindset for the team in the game. So if you didn't feel that and there was no passion, that's tough. Having the shots, 3 of the goals, all 3 that wasn't the empty net, coming from the blue line, coming through and getting tipped. Yeah, I mean, you need to have your D and your centers like picking up the man in front. So that's tough, and that is impossible for most goalies to make the stop for.
So I say Dvorak because I remember specifically there was just a time where it was almost like a 2-on-1, and he had the puck. He had an opportunity to just shoot the puck, but he didn't do it. He didn't even pass either. He just kept going, and then the Kings guy just took the puck away from him. So he didn't shoot or pass.
They have a case of looking for the perfect play and the perfect shot where they just need to shoot, and get through. Yeah. And we see that in the Islanders game, but we'll get to that later.
And this is no finish.
I mean,
they're again, high-value chances. They whiff on the puck, and half the net is empty.
Well, the Kings
Anderson's another guy a lot of us complain about. He's got speed, and he's called like the power horse or workhorse or whatever, but he's got no finish to his game.
Yeah. Well, the Kings play a very defensive style of game, and like they don't have the best goalie 3-headed monster thing going on. I think it's like Copley, Riddick, and Kemper, but they play very well defensively. So, like I get that there was some trouble getting some shots or getting in and setting up in the zone, but that's how they play. But you have to find a way for sure. I mean, you had all these chances. You had these 4 grade A opportunities where it was essentially one man against the goalie. And you're making David Riddick, like on the stat sheet at least, look great. And it's like he's not a top goalie in the league, so
yeah,
got to find a way to get past him.
Yeah, and that's why I say the skill at least was lacking for this game.
Yeah.
Obviously, like it's still improving, and there's still a lot of time for it to improve, but you really see the skill gap between us and the rest of the league. We just I just immediately think like, wow, we still have a lot of work to do, because the Kings, we need to, like, they're not the best team as even goaltending wise, but they're not like a top tier team, and we need to at least be competitive against like a middle tier team that like the Kings. So it was a bit of a struggle that game, and it was a bit disappointing once it all ended.
Yeah.
But I was in a way happy that it ended, because it's like, all right, just move on to the next game. Just, come on, move forward.
They were also coming off a couple of tough losses, the Kings. So,
Right.
I mean, I think they'll be in the mix for making the playoffs, but it was a big like character win for them to lose twice poorly and then come in and win. Not that that's good for you, but like I can see why they'd be motivated, you know? Yeah. But Ottawa's, I think, better than the Habs this year for sure, right?
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I guess so.
I
like the beatdown that the Ottawa Montreal rivalry is back.
Yeah, it's back.
It's
I
fun.
like it. It all started with Jack Eye's hit, which was not really a hit.
I know, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
The only saving grace for this game is Lane Hudson playing 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is unprecedented for us, let alone like a rookie in general in the league. And there was like comparisons of Cale Makar and being the only person, and like Quinn Hughes or some of the guys last year playing.
Those are
over
big
30
names
minutes.
to be compared to.
And and one concerning thing that Arpon Basu showed is like this graphic of, you know, defensively how Montreal is. We're 32nd in the league for
Every
shots
stat.
against, goals against projected. Every stat, I'll show it on the screen. Yeah, it's concerning.
That sucks.
So, and it feels like we've been struggling through this for a long time. So
can only go up from here.
It can only go up. So there's that. But that's it for the Kings game.
All right, moving on to the second Red Wings game. So we did a little home and home. It was at MSG on, I think, Monday. And then on Thursday, we had the Rangers in Detroit. This was it wasn't a Panarin legacy game because he's done this so much, but this was a game that you just let Panarin take over. We actually had Jonathan Quick in net for this game, and he played great. Just held down the net. I mean, the fact that they got him last year and he played the way that he did, and we're only paying him like $1 million, and he really like filled in there when Shesterkin had kind of a down January last year, was awesome, because it just like. It goes to show that, I mean, he's a local guy. He's from, I think, Hamden, Connecticut. Yep. And the fact that he, like, you know, he's playing for his hometown team. He's back here. He's playing well. He's a double.
We always love to hear those kinds of stories.
And he's won 3 cups, I think.
Yeah,
2 with the Kings, 1 as a backup for the Knights. So it's pretty awesome.
Wait, he was a backup for the Knights?
I think so. Wasn't he? I think so.
I did not know that, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, you can flame me for it, but I'm pretty sure he was. And then he came from there to the Rangers. It was awesome.
He had 2 with the Kings?
Pretty sure, yeah. Remember, they were like a top team, and then they beat the Rangers.
Yeah, I remember that one. Obviously, that was a great.
Oh, shut up.
Seeing Lundqvist all.
No, you can't hate Lundqvist.
Yeah, I can.
No, it's the same thing as like if you're a Boston Red Sox fan and you hate the Yankees.
But we lost in the finals too. But Price never like broke down like Lundqvist.
It wasn't
did.
It wasn't a breakdown. It was overtime.
Just
Game
like,
5. It was overtime, and it was a rush, and he scored in overtime.
Similar to the Habs, you guys had no chance against that LA team.
They were like the 8th seed. I'm pretty sure.
They were the 8th seed,
and they just came through and were
destroyed everyone.
They had the hotter goalie, and they had I guess their team was just built for that more.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm gonna get off that topic because I don't want to rehash it and have PTSD.
We'll see. There you go.
Okay, so quick, great game. You know, again, we're seeing some breakdowns in front of the net, and I'm less satisfied or secure with Quick in net, obviously, because Shesterkin's definitely better at this time in both their careers. But and Quick kind of slides out of the net or like does something, and it's a little shaky. But we either lucked out or he was in the right position enough to make some saves and prevent a big blow up of goals against. And like I said before, Panarin really just took over. Like, I think he didn't have a natural hat trick. He went 2, and then I think I'm pretty sure he shot it and Trocheck tipped it on the power play. So he had like a 4-point night, and then he's just been all over the ice.
Yeah, where were the Red Wings this game? Just like
where were they the last game too, though?
Yeah, it just.
I don't think they're that. I mean, they're close to making the playoffs, but I don't think they have taken a great step. And for whatever reason, Talbot just like wasn't on his game tonight.
So if you're in the Red
Panarin
Wings,
was more on his game.
Yeah, if you're looking in the Red Wings' perspective, if you're looking to take that next step, I think they are a playoff team. They want to show up for games like this because it's like you want to show up for top-tier teams. You know, like you want to bring on the heat and competition. And Rangers are one of those teams where you have to show up, I think. And
definitely
they kind of blanked for both the games.
I'm never too concerned with the Red Wings when we play them.
Right.
Maybe there's.
You want to feel the threat, though. That's the thing.
So I get that they've added Tarasenko. They have Kane. They have Larkin, who's a threat, and then they have the young guys in Raymond and Seider. But I just don't have a fear of them right now. Right. And like maybe that can change the next couple of years.
You want to start that, like, not fear necessarily, but I know what you mean. Like just like. Okay, they're going to be competitive. Like
to be honest, though,
better watch out.
Yeah, I'll be honest though. I don't really have a fear of any team right now. Right. The way the Rangers have been playing, I think they're 4-0-1, and like.
And they won the President's Trophy last year, so.
And it's like the team that I thought was by far better than the Rangers last year all year was the Panthers. They split a couple games in the regular season. They lost to them in I think 6 in the conference final, and the Panthers were by far the better team. They were the better team in the Cup final too, and like they deserved that win. But I think it's kind of the same this year. I want to see it because I know the Panthers have lost a couple guys, and I don't think they're as good as last year, right now at least. And they have Barkov like in and off the injury report, and there's a couple other things going on there. But I think that's really the team that we need to just, if we can focus on our efforts this year on being better and playing the way that the Panthers did last year, and maybe adding a piece or two at the deadline that helps that. Not adding like a guy that needs a second chance like Roslovic, and not adding a guy like Wenberg who's like good defensively but probably won't add scoring. We need some dogs that can go in and play these playoff minutes. And our ultimate goal should be we have to get through the Panthers. And it's kind of like even if the Panthers aren't in the playoffs this year, we know it's fresh in Rangers' memory the team that beat them last year and why they lost. And they lost because the Panthers were deeper and they were better. So beat that team and you will go on to the Stanley Cup, and I think you can beat, like there's not a team on the West. I know Dallas will be around.
Hold on to that feeling, by the way, that confidence.
I know. Every year it's been getting stronger.
It's great where you feel like,
we're the team to beat. I think we're the team to beat.
We could beat over 30 teams pretty easily. And
not
there's one
easily,
or two
no, there's a couple,
there's one or two you really have to
and
worry
you have to
about,
stay healthy, of course, but like Colorado's a little bit weak and battered. Their goalie situation is totally messed up. The Oilers are powerful, but they don't have the depth. Like I think we're the team to beat, which is great. So back to game 2 with the Detroit. Panarin takes over, and I want to open this up to you now. Who is the better player? Because there's been, I'll say it. Who is the better player? The whole conversation around the Shesterkin contract is he says he's the best player on the team. He deserves to make the most on the team.
Wait, he says that? He said that?
I think he didn't come out and say that in a press release, but it was like it's an understanding with his agent and in the negotiations that he thinks he's the best player on the team and he should get paid the most because he's the best, which means more than Panarin, which makes 11.6 or 6.2 or something. So who's the better player on the team? Who's the best player? Panarin or Shesterkin? Because Panarin is playing like he's the best.
Yeah.
Right now.
The thing is,
he has 11 points. He had a hat trick. He set a record for the Rangers, 4 straight games to open the season with multiple points. He is going to, if he keeps on this trajectory, he will probably hold many Rangers records for scoring. Especially at home. At home, he's an animal. He's almost a lock to score multiple points.
It's really hard
crazy.
to determine between a forward and a goalie.
Yeah.
Just for context, we knew Price was the best player on the team because he literally kept us in the game for so many games where we didn't deserve to win, but we won anyway, and it was like a 2-1. Like, very low scoring, but he keeps us in the game. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sure Shesterkin has done that a number of times. But
yes, he has.
But you have a good goaltender and good scoring.
The best goaltender right
currently
now.
in the league.
Yes.
Sure.
I got it to say it. Nice.
Whatever.
Just making sure.
But you also have good scoring. So
some might say the best scorer.
I wouldn't say the best scoring,
No,
but
right. Me neither.
consistently very, like, again, the bar I'm comparing with is Montreal. So, like,
they are very different.
It's very good. Very good.
Yes.
So it's hard to determine because the forward group is also firing on all cylinders. Panarin definitely carrying the forward group on his back.
For like the second year,
I'm not to say that Lafreniere and Mika are not doing their own part. They're doing it too. They also
Lafreniere more so than Mika, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So without Panarin, I think
but who
you'd be crippled.
If you
I'd
agreed.
say Shesterkin is the more valuable player.
So you would say Shesterkin's better.
Like, you'll see a more drastic change if Shesterkin was out.
Agreed. That said, though, I mean, and it depends because Quick has been playing well, but him playing the full workload, that's not
full
gonna
workload.
No.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Agreed. I can agree with that. That Shesterkin's still the best on team, but I think Panarin, he's a little sicko, and I think he's like, oh, you think you're better than me? Okay, I'm gonna go out and score 15 in the first 5.
It's
what are you
the
gonna do about it?
Competition. I love it.
It's kind of awesome. So he went off that game. Mancini had his first goal, which I know you didn't really know Mancini coming up. He's just this he's a rookie, but he
was drafted.
Was bouncing around. I think he was not a high round pick. I think he bounced around and went to Sweden for a little bit, and then came over, and then he's really stood out in camp. Obviously, he made the team out of camp, which is we weren't really expecting, and it's really showing us that maybe we don't need to keep dragging along Lindgren, even though I love him, heart and soul guy, but if he's going to be asking for $5 million or more next year, Mancini seems like the guy that will slot right in. Which is great.
Yeah, with Chesty's contract, we need to
shave where we can, and we're gonna ask a lot of our young AHL players, I think, or like AHL borderline, like Berard and Othman and Mancini. They're gonna be all pulled up.
What's Laff gonna get?
I think Laff. I said last week, but I think Laff's gonna get 8.
Oh right, yeah, 8
or 8.2 or something, which is great. I mean, if he took the
that's around the Dylan Gunther and Slav.
Yeah,
I think I said that exact same thing.
Yeah, probably. No, but if he takes like the Ottinger deal, which is the 8.25, this is Laff I'm talking about. I would be thrilled. Sign him up now, lock him for 8 years. I think in a couple years he'll be worth more than 8. So he shouldn't sign it for his own personal benefit, but because I think what teams should do or what players should do is sign smaller deals because they can. It's a bet on yourself for sure. But if you do that, you bet on yourself, you play well, you could definitely make more money. But as a fan, sign long term, please.
Right.
So Mancini's goal, great to see that he's contributing. The other thing that I really want to talk about, it was actually on Panarin's third goal, I think. Power play goal. You see Panarin kind of in the Cole Caulfield slot, or for us, it's the Mika Zibanejad slot, which is the left side circle, because Panarin's a righty. So you can just rip a one-timer from there. But usually, and last year especially, Zibanejad would just post it in that spot. And there wasn't much movement. It was Trocheck in the middle, in the bumper, Kreider in front of the net, Panarin on the on the right side, Zibanejad on the left, and Fox up top. But what it seems like they're doing, and maybe this is a great decision by the coaches and the power play personnel, they're switching up where everyone stands. And sure, you're still going to have Kreider up front. But Fox, Zibanejad, and Panarin should be switching, I think. It changes
rotating,
up the look. Yeah, because it changes up the look. If you know...
And they all could shoot.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with... if you know Ovechkin is going to be standing there, like you know how to cover it. You can
Right.
plan for it. And it's same for us. Like if Zibanejad's standing there and he's going to take a one-timer that misses the net most of the time, you know how to account for
glass,
that. But if you guys are cycling and then you have Panarin there and then like, oh, okay, we're cycling up top, Fox has it, drops it back, and then you have, you switch up the personnel. It's looks that these teams haven't seen as much. It's harder to defend, and Panarin scored on it, which is great. So I think that's something that if they keep doing and keep messing around with, I love to see it. And yeah, I mean, Detroit didn't look like they could. I mean, they had chances, but we cleared it out. We scored more. We had Quick playing well, and I mean, Seider had a great goal. I think they had one other goal. It was like a 5-2 game, but that's what I wanted to say about that game. It was the Panarin game for sure.
Yeah, Yeah, Panarin he is one of the best scorers in the league right now. Like,
is he your favorite
I can
Ranger?
easily say. Probably not. No.
No? Who's your favorite Ranger?
Like currently?
Yeah. On the team. Trouba?
No, I don't
Kreider?
like Trouba.
Yeah, no
I
one
don't
likes
like Trouba. I guess Cooley. He's kind of cool.
Will Cooley.
Will Cooley. He's kind of.
It's an interesting pick for a non-fan.
Well,
that's cool. Third liner.
I don't like any of the Rangers.
You like Lafreniere? Come on.
No.
He's a Montreal kid.
No.
Played at Oceanic. Rimouski.
No. I mean,
all right. Well, Cooley.
I respect the background, of course.
Okay.
But he's a Ranger.
But Will
I'm not gonna like that.
Will Cooley, dude. I think that's an interesting part. Mine, I think, has got to be on the Canadiens. It's got to be Caulfield.
Yeah.
He's good, and I mean Caulfield and Hudson. They're both Americans, right? So, I think I can come around to liking them, and if Hudson becomes this like stud American defenseman,
I could come around to liking Lafreniere.
Yeah.
I think.
I think
maybe I'm just saying that, but
yeah, I think if Hudson grows into like the role that Quinn Hughes and McAvoy and Fox have and Werenski as these like top defensemen from America, I could learn to love him for sure because you gotta love that, especially when the World Cup of Hockey or
when
like
the World Cup
Nations.
comes, that's
well,
gonna
Four
be
Nations
so
is this year.
Awesome. Oh yes,
it's gonna
yes.
be, so it's Canada. I think it's Finland, Sweden, and the U.S.
That's gonna be fun.
Sweet.
That's gonna be so
We
fun.
might have to go to one of those games.
Yeah. Wait. So where do they?
I think it's like Boston, Montreal, Toronto. I think there's like a couple.
Nice.
Yeah.
New York, I imagine.
I think. I'm not sure, actually. Got to look into that. Okay. So that was game 2. Yeah, moving on to game 3 of the Canadiens this week. Canadiens Islanders.
Yeah, so to finish up the week, this was actually a much better effort that I saw out of the Habs, despite the previous game being pretty horrendous.
Yeah, good little bounce back. Got a point, right?
Good little bounce back. It was a little nerve-wracking because initially we gave up 2 early goals in the first period. Not to blame Primo or anything. Primo actually looked really great at the end of this game. Down 2-0. Late in the first period, we got a power play. 8 seconds left. We win the face-off. Matheson passes it to Caulfield, and the first shot is blocked by the defenseman in front, but it comes right back to them, and then just
a little bit rolling, but he just finds it.
It's rolling, but he just once it's right in front of him, he just shoots it again.
Yeah.
Top corner,
like perfectly
placed past
takes,
Varlamov's shoulder. Just love to see those sharp angle goals because it's a rare occurrence for a player to do that for us.
Yeah.
And 5th goal of the season, it's looking like a year where Caulfield is hopefully hitting the 30, 40.
He's had 20 something.
He's
only?
had 28. I think last year.
Yeah.
Almost hit it.
I think he can.
But I think he's definitely
Stay
hitting
healthy
over 30.
and he can do it. That's
Staying
what
healthy, he's definitely hitting over 30. I don't want to get too excited about hitting over 40, but it's looking good. Good way to end the period despite being down 2-0.
So 2-1 to end the period?
2-1 going into second.
Gotcha.
But first minute of the second, we get Logan Mailloux' first goal of the NHL.
Oh.
I'm decently high on this kid.
Yeah.
I think he's great defensively. He showed scoring capacity in Laval.
Nice.
And he had a great preseason with us. So it's great to see him called up.
Did he play a little last year?
He did.
But
this is his
okay. So
he played along Lane Hudson
Gotcha.
last year for the last couple games.
So this is his official rookie year.
Yeah,
That's cool.
official
Good.
rookie year.
A lot of rookies.
Yeah, we have one of the youngest teams in the league. We have basically 4 full-time rookies.
Yeah.
Oliver Kapanen, Emil Heineman, Lane Hudson, Malu.
And they all kind of stood out, I feel like.
They all stood out.
This game especially.
This game too.
Yeah.
Jake Evans driving the play. He had a great game this game. The PK, despite giving up a lot of penalties, the Habs, the PK really did their best, and Jake Evans being one of the quarterbacks for that and helping us out there. But he himself actually drove this play, giving it to Anderson, but again, Anderson just not capitalizing on the great opportunities that he has in front of him. But thankfully, it goes back to Jake down in the corner. He sees Malu wide open. Malu just goes top corner for his first goal. Awesome first goal to see. And just really encouraging to see our rookies scoring. I always love it when our rookies score. It just reminds me of the days when I used to play NHL, like the NHL games, and I always have the rookies score so they get their overalls increase. So
nice.
I imagine that happening in real life when they score goals. He gets
an
A.
He gets an A for the shift.
Yeah.
Good job offensively. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome. It's awesome to see. So Logan Mailloux tying it 2-2.
So you said Anderson kind of not playing a great game here. Kind of same with Doc, right? You had some problems with Doc this game too, right?
Yeah, Doc. I mean, the organization knows, and perhaps Habs fans know that there was going to be some adjustment period for Doc.
Yeah.
And there still is ongoing adjustment, especially in this game. He had a great opportunity. I forgot who came down the line. I think it was Newhook on the right side, and Doc was just too tied up right in front of the net, but there was a wide open net in front of Varley. Tied up, couldn't get the shot off. I think he's still finding his game, finding his confidence. I need him to shoot more. I think he's a great player and also just a great presence to have. And he still needs some time to get things going, and this is one of the games where you really saw that. So hopefully he'll get his first soon, but that's something I'm keeping track of, certainly.
Doc's progression.
Doc's progression.
Because he's still young, but he's got to be a guy that takes a step forward.
Yeah, he's been injured way too much.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy. And actually, if anything, if he plays all 82 games, I think that's a huge accomplishment for him because he hasn't played a full season yet.
That's exactly how I feel about Kakko and how I feel about Philip Hedl on the Rangers, because Hedl is a guy every year you're like, wow, he's showing flashes, he's showing he's really great, and then injured, concussion, leg injury, stuff like that. And Kakko, it's like he's never really he never gets that good scoring streak or he doesn't really tie it together. Yeah. But he plays really well defensively. But then he's playing well, playing better, and then he gets hurt. So that's what I want for our guys too.
Doc, Doc is one of the main core guys I'm really maybe scrutinizing a bit more. Some people did scrutinize Suzuki in the Kings game, and which I don't think is really called for. Yeah. Even though he hasn't scored his first yet, we know that there's still growing pains, and at the very least, he's in on the plays where Caulfield scores.
And he's getting the toughest matchups too.
Yeah, he's our number one center, and he has to play against really good number one lines. It's
the same thing that happens with Zibanejad. He plays against the top centers, and a lot of times those centers are super good defensively. You talk about Crosby and Barkov, for example,
right?
And he always gets shut down in the playoffs, especially because he has those top matchups. It allows the other lines on the team to breathe a little bit, though. So, you hope that your second line center, who is that?
Doc.
Yeah. You hope that he can then take the step to produce if Suzuki is getting tied up. But it's kind of
that's another reason why Doc needs to step up, because it's just unrealistic for the first line to be doing everything. Yeah. They can't be doing they can't be the only ones scoring.
But it also could tie into his line mates, right? You said Armia.
Oh yeah. Armia, Newhook.
They're
he has even with him, I see like greatness.
Yeah.
But it comes in flashes.
Yeah.
And I love to see more out of him in terms of getting more in the play. Newhook, like there were a couple moments I saw in this game or in previous games where he just kind of floats around, waiting for the pass to come to him. I feel like Newhook is one of those guys that I want to see get in the play more. But yeah, Suzuki. I don't think the criticism is too warranted yet. There's like, of course, maybe down the line, but right now I think he's okay. So anyway, last period. It's back and forth in the second period and most of the third, and Primo keeps us in the game. They outshot us once more. Last 5 minutes, we kind of give up defensively. Let in, I believe, kind of an unwarranted goal. Barron is caught out too far out, and Anders Lee comes in and gets a pass and right in front of the net, scores.
Yeah, it was
on
pass
him.
Off pads. It was a good shot by Pajo, and then
pass off the pads. Yeah. And for the rebound,
yeah.
Anders Lee was there.
It was Barron that couldn't pull it in.
Barron couldn't tie him up. He was too far behind or just didn't get the stick in.
Yeah.
And that made the Islanders go up 3-2. Thankfully, Cole Caulfield putting the team on his back for this game, tying it up, 2 minutes left. I mean, it's just a simple play. They enter the zone. Slavkovsky has it, passes it down to Caulfield's wheelhouse on the left side, turns around and just shoots it. Just simply shoots it, and it squeezes through.
That's why you do it. You throw it into traffic. Shooter's mentality. That's what the team needs, it sounds like. Don't just look for the perfect play.
And the funny thing is, I think, Caulfield's our sniper, but I think there are other players on the team that are goal scorers like him.
He didn't place that perfectly. It was literally just throw it on net.
Yeah.
Any one of your team could have done that.
Anyone
and they
could
should do that. Yeah.
And I like to say that Suzuki is pretty on par with Caulfield in terms of scoring because he knows how to snipe it, Suzuki. Like, there are moments last year where I saw, wow, how did that go in?
Yeah.
So I know Suzuki could score just as well as Caulfield can. So tying it, OT, great. Now I get a little discouraged because I know our OT record is not great, but it's fun nonetheless. And I think the only highlight here is just Lane Hudson almost scoring off a Caulfield feed, almost burying it for his first. That would have been so hype, especially in OT.
That would have that's the thing that will push you over the edge. Like when it turns from almost to wow, they did it.
Yeah, wow, they did it.
And closing out close games like that.
Yeah. And so I would say overall from this week, Caulfield, Hudson, absolutely killing it for the team. They're really trying to carry the team and the squad. And I'm not going to jump into conclusions now, but Hudson is so good that our players don't know how to utilize him effectively yet. Not yet. Yeah. Hopefully it'll progress and get better. As I said, growing pains and, a new style of playing for us that's been opened up. There has to be some adjustment period to that.
Yeah.
It goes into a shootout. A pretty long one, nine rounds. Our rookies are the only ones that scored for us. Kapanen and Heineman, those guys showing up pretty well to compensate for everyone else, but we fall short after Malu's miss.
Happens. It's kind of like the way I see it.
I'm just happy we were much more competitive compared to the Penguins and Kings game.
Yeah, you get the point.
We got the point. We stayed in it, and we caught up. Like Caulfield helped us catch up. So it's amazing.
It's really.
It's good to see.
I see it's like 50-50 when you get to overtime. It's kind of just like it's so much rush hockey and you can prevent, but especially when it gets to shootout, it's like okay.
Yeah. Anyone
could really be the hero here. So yeah.
Shootout. It'd be interesting to see an extended OT. I'm not a big fan of shootouts.
Yeah, it's kind of just it's like, okay, we just turned the full team game into just like one-on-one. It's a little interesting. I used to love it as a kid. Like if you went to a game.
Yeah, because it's cool. It's like,
especially if you're at the game, you're like, oh, I hope it goes into a shootout. But now I'm like, no, I hope they win, and I hope it's a 6-0 game. Yeah.
Win or an awesome win in OT.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Like, I don't know, maybe we'll get into it later, but like a 10-minute OT would be pretty cool.
I think 10 would be cool. I think they're worried that that's too much hockey.
Right, yeah.
And,
no, I get that.
I wouldn't mind a tie. People hate ties, but I wouldn't mind it. If they do,
that's one reason why I don't like soccer.
If they did like an 8-minute 3-on-3, and then if after that
8 minutes, yeah.
If after that nothing, then tie, then you just have each team take one, and then that's it.
And maybe I'm just saying I don't like shootouts because like I know I don't have much confidence in them for shootouts, and who knows, maybe they'll turn that around. But yeah, you kind of maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me, Habs fans, but. When we go to the shootout, I just kind of get like discouraged, I guess. Like I'm like, okay, well.
Is Monty not good or Primo? Are they not good at this?
No, they're actually pretty good. They're good in the shootout. It's more of the scores I'm worried about.
Yeah, well, if it's only your rookie scoring, that makes sense.
So, yeah, it's indicative to what I've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Like so.
But maybe that'll get the boys going. Like maybe if they see their young guys kind of firing.
Yeah.
Even though they're all young, maybe that'll just like click.
It should. It should. But decent way to end the week.
Yeah. Cool. Moving on to Game 3 for the Rangers, Maple Leafs, at Toronto.
At Toronto, yeah.
I wanted to save this one for
Canadian Tire Center. Yeah. Gotta love it.
Not Maple Leaf Gardens anymore. I wanted to.
Is it Canadian Tire? I could be mixing with Ottawa.
Isn't it like it's not Scotiabank?
Oh, it is. It is.
Arena?
Yeah. Canadian Tire is Ottawa. Okay. Scotiabank. It's got to be Scotiabank.
Yeah, I think so, right? So. I wanted to save this one for last because I'm sure the Canadiens have
just love it.
Fans have things to say.
Although
about
I do dislike
Toronto.
the Rangers, I dislike Toronto more. So it's
You'd
good to
rather
see.
the Rangers win than Toronto. Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean, yeah.
Which makes sense. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll say about this game is like Nylander had probably 2 or 3. Pretty high danger chances and just could not beat Igor or would whiff and miss the net. Something looks off with him from what I've seen. Like he has
boiling frustrations.
Yeah, that's what it seems. At the end of the game, even there was a time where it was right after the empty net, one of the empty net goals.
He just
I think we scored 2.
Breaks his stick.
He just skates by and slams his stick on the net and breaks it, which is like a clear indication of frustration. And that's another reason. Remember last week you were like talking about how you think Nylander might have been a better choice for captain.
Right.
But I'm like, dude,
but maybe
I think
not.
he has
you're right.
He has
right.
But that type of emotion is what drives him to be a great player.
Right.
But you need to keep it in check if you're a captain for sure. If you show emotion, it's fine. But if you're being a little baby about it, I don't know.
Remember what I said about the Red Wings? Like you want to be competitive against the good teams. Even more so for Toronto. Because they want to see themselves as that top tier team.
Yeah.
You have to be competitive with a team like the Rangers, even more so than the Rangers. I mean, the Red Wings, which actually, it fits more than what I said about that. It fits more this situation than that one. But yeah, I mean, you're going to be emotional when you can't keep up and you get outscored.
It's true. And that is what happened. The Rangers opened up the scoring with Lafreniere, who has been hot. And I meant to talk about this in the last game, but it works perfectly in this game too. He and that line are our 5-on-5 drivers. Our third line of Cooley, Hedl, and Kakko also drive it, but they don't score as much right now at least. But they do possess, which is great. But that second line, we'll call it, with Panarin, Lafreniere, and Trocheck, that's the line that is creating all of our 5-on-5 chances. And it really it's great to have that because we're constantly known as a team that really just are power play merchants. So having that line going and having Lafreniere.
Were you guys number 1 last year?
We were up top 5 the last couple years.
Yeah, for sure. Easily.
But to have that line going and producing like that and to have a young guy like Lafreniere going is amazing. And what I was thinking was he kind of seems like he has the best of both Trocheck and Panarin. And having those guys as mentors on his line definitely elevates him because he has some grit and he has some will drive to the net, will do the dirty things like Trocheck, but he also has the finesse where he goes, back through the legs, does a sick backhander.
Well, who knows? Maybe
shot,
if he gets
like
if he's a point per game, they're gonna pay him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And more so,
I know.
maybe
Well,
more
I
so
think
than you're
you're right.
anticipating.
You're right. They might, and
salary.
like that will suck. But I'm never gonna say like, no, Lafreniere,
Right, yeah.
don't score those points.
Yeah,
I want him to
yeah,
keep
exactly,
going.
yeah.
He was one of the only guys. Him and Goodrow actually, Barclay Goodrow, like they were the only ones that really showed up for that Florida series, and Igor. But like last year in the playoffs, that they were the ones scoring and leading that team. So they needed they need him to keep that going. I think he's showing really, really good stuff there. So he scores the first.
He's on pace right now.
Yeah. He scores the first. Zibanejad doesn't score the second, but he sets up a beauty assist to Kreider, kind of around the net front, which was awesome. Good to see Zibanejad like keep contributing from a points perspective. I do want to see him score more, like we've talked about, but if he's dishing and if that means Kreider can have another 50-goal season, then go for it, man. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And then Matthews gets his I think second of the year. You're kind of expecting him to score in most games now since he's had the 69.
It wasn't a wraparound, but it was around the net, and
yeah.
then
Oh well, that is true. It was kind of like another net front or net close to the net
it wasn't
area
a snipe
goal
or anything.
But it's like that's what the Rangers have been needing to clear up the last 3 games. They need to make sure that front of the net is secure, and you leave one of the best goal scorers in the league, if not the best, around the net. He's going to find a way to score. But yeah, you're right. Wasn't a perfect snipe, but went in, and the Rangers have to clean that up still. So that was really all the offense from the Leafs. The Rangers have those 2 goals that I just mentioned. It was 2-1.
Any high danger chances against the Rangers that the Leafs could have taken
advantage
advantage
it was
of?
Nylander most of the time. I think
Nylander, okay.
that stood out. I didn't see much from the Marner Tavares group.
Marner's been pretty quiet.
Yeah,
and Tavares
he's
as well.
back and forth. They're both. I don't know. Core 4, not looking too great, but whatever. But the Leafs are doing well though as far as standings go. So yeah, so we had those 2 goals. They answered with 1 from Matthews to get them on the score sheet, and it was kind of a close game the rest of the way. But the difference is we have Igor and they don't.
Yeah.
And they have Alex Stolarz in, which is like, I think he was going to be their second option, but now that Joseph Wall's out, he's kind of their starter and splitting time with Hildeby. So he, Igor kept us in it for sure. It was a close game down to the end, and then the last couple minutes they pulled the goalie. And we capitalized, and Zibanejad's just the empty net merchant.
Another empty netter for him.
Yeah. So I think it was him and Kreider that got the last 2 goals. So the score was maybe not indicative of the full game because 4-1 seems way.
Doesn't matter. Anytime that the Leafs are deflated in their home,
when you see them throwing a hissy fit, breaking their sticks on the net, that's perfect.
At a home game in Toronto, and they lose, I love it.
Yeah, hockey night.
Absolutely love it.
Hockey night Saturday
on
in
Saturday
Canada.
night.
Wah, wah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really what I was seeing in that game. Good to have the Leafs lose for sure.
Yeah, it's one thing about the team itself, the Leafs, but Leafs fans. What do I have to? There's just so much to say about them. Like I just cannot stand them, and they can't stand us, and it's great. It's a good back and forth, but hey, we made it to the finals more than you, and. And
you went through them. That was the best
we
part.
Went through
3-1, baby.
That was the most satisfying comeback
Probably
I've
better
ever
than...
witnessed. And we're never gonna top that. It doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, and it all started with our former Habs player accidentally giving us a pass.
Who?
Alex Galchenyuk.
Oh, Gally.
Yeah, Alex Galchenyuk. Giving it to it was either Suze or Caulfield.
Just right away.
And then it was a 2-0.
Caulfield had a monster series that series.
Yeah, and that was actually his first year in like the league officially. Like that run.
Yeah.
Like he was right out of.
He looked like a 40-goal scorer right there.
He was
goal
literally
Caulfield.
out of Wisconsin
That's
and
goal
just
Caulfield.
joined the team. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's fun to see the Leafs lose.
Absolutely. Yeah, parting thoughts for next week, since we've gone through all 3 games.
I feel like there's not much on your end. You just clean up stuff defensively in front of the net.
That's it. Keep winning and
scoring. And for us, I don't know. There's so much. For one, let's get a good, clean win, like our opening night. That was a 1-0 game, but just like a good, clean win. We're a solid effort all around, and you feel the good energy and synergy going on, whether it's in our new guys or in our current veterans. And it's getting a good, clean win. Like, that's what I want for this week.
So that'll do it for this episode. That's been the week. That's been the 3 games on the Rangers side and the 3 games on the Canadiens side. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, send to your friends. Check us out on YouTube. We'll have the video there. We'll also have the audio on Spotify. Take a look in the description. I've included timestamps for each individual game. So if you are a Habs fan and you don't give a hoot about the Rangers, you can just click through and just go to the Habs. Same with the Rangers. We would love it if you watch the full thing, but you can understand if not.
Yeah.
Anything your side?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for next week's recap. Nice.
Good stuff.